into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. If you are tuning into AfterBuzzTV.com, you've come to the right place. This is the Amazing Race After Show for Season 28, Episode 2, You Look Like Gollum. I'm your host, James Wallington, and tonight we have a full house in the studio. Ladies?
I am so happy to be back. I feel like it's been forever, and it feels good to be back.
I'm excited to have you next to me again. Hey, guys, it's Marie.
Well, I'm really excited we're all back for the first time this season.
Yes.
Let's dive right into Episode 2. What were your overall thoughts, ladies?
It was dirty.
Yeah.
No, I did like it. I thought it was good. The brother Viners are really going to have to step up their competition if they're going to want to stay in the race.
I agree.
Because, I mean, yeah, they can do their Rubik's Cube blindfolded, even though they're probably peeking.
I mean, unless that's a roadblock, though. They're
Right,
not.
yeah, so they really need to step up their game.
Well, I think because of how much they're talking up their intelligence, and I've heard sound bites of them being like, there's no room for mistakes. I'm thinking that that's going to be ultimately what is their downfall, is that they're just too smart, and they're going to make one silly mistake, and then it's going to send them home.
They're my favorite, though. Like I said that from the beginning. They're my favorite, and I'm so nervous now because
They're
like of
your
what I've.
favorite?
They're not standouts at
They're
all.
not,
They're
but like I
boring,
love them
kinda.
because they're brothers, and like I got that. Like I was telling James last week, I would have loved to race with my sister. I think it's such a cool experience, and they seem fun. But I just see like no urgency from them throughout any of the race. I wanted to be like, what are you doing? Like, go. Why are you so chill right now? This is a race.
Right.
So they're making me nervous.
And just like how you said you wish that you could have raced with your sister.
Right.
I feel like that's why I kind of like Blair and Scott, just because I wish I could have raced with my dad, and even though I would have probably left my curling iron at home. Anyways, that's beside the point.
You would have done the bun the whole time.
Oh, yeah, I would have rocked the bun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about Blair for a second, because she was talking a lot at the beginning of this episode about how she brought her blow dryer and her curling iron, and I'm thinking, oh, sweetheart.
And she had her dad.
But most of the girls do that. I mean, as much as everyone lies and says that they don't, like, they do. Even on my season. No, I didn't. But, I mean, did you see what I looked like? There was no hair makeup going on for me. But there's the bunnies. They were curling their hair the whole time. Amy was smart. She did the bun. But even the Ice Girls, I mean, you don't just wake up with your hair looking like that. There's clip-ins. There's fucking wands.
I think it was fitting that they showed that clip to begin with, only because that's, like, what she's known for on YouTube is the beauty tutorial.
Right. And
so
I actually went to her
it.
YouTube channel, and she did show exactly what she packed for the Amazing Race, and she literally had like bags of makeup, like hair tools, lotion,
but that's
beauty
her
products.
thing,
that's
you know?
her thing.
So
But
I'm
it's
not
so
mad
cute.
at her for that.
Yeah, it's so cute that that's just who she is.
Yeah.
Joseph Boza in the live chat says, with the whole social media theme, I wish that AfterBuzz is represented by James and Jess.
We would have been a great
Oh, that
team.
would have been so cute.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time, if there's a next time.
Yeah.
So this episode was really exciting because they were traveling to a completely new destination, first time in Amazing Race history, which was the country of Colombia in South America, the city of Cartagena. And once they landed there, they had to head to El Totumo. We hear a little bit more about Matt and Dana's relationship, how their careers are really exploding, and that they really need to find some more balance in their life. And Dana kind of feels like she pressured Matt into getting engaged, which is probably why this engagement's been dragged out for 3 years.
3 years? Holy, I mean, what is the delay? Like, after 3 years.
I guess. I don't know. I get it, though. Like, I feel like once you're engaged, like, who cares? I don't know. When people get engaged and then they plan the wedding the next day and everything's so rushed, I'm just like, why?
I mean, I get when people are together for a long time, but I feel like once you get engaged, it's like, aren't you just excited for your wedding?
Yeah, but if she forced him to, like, propose to her, then...
Yeah, that's true.
He was probably like, okay, here's a ring, but not yet.
Not
like, chill.
Yeah.
Well, we
But,
also
like, what
heard...
is the wait? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
I think it'll progress. Like, we'll get more more bites
stories
of their story is why they're delayed.
Maybe there'll be like a fast forward challenge where you can get married and skip to the end, and that'll be their story.
Watch them get married at the mat.
Yeah, maybe
it's
they're
special.
Right. They're waiting to get married at the mat. Yep. Phil will.
A live wedding.
So funny. We see a little bit more about Zach and Rachel's dynamic. Zach mentions that he's always dependent on his phone because, social media has become his life, his career. Yeah. That Rachel's like, 1 month together without worrying about our phones is a good thing. I can't imagine, being so immersed into technology, your social media platforms, your phone, and then all of a sudden that stripped away from you.
It's their life, and that's why I actually think that this show it's kind of that added little challenge for them. Yeah. Because they are so attached to their phones, and that's their career. That's what, they do every day, all day, that it'll be pretty hard for them to just...
I agree.
Leave it behind.
This is when Darius and Cameron also talk about no room for mistakes. And I'm thinking, what's going to happen in this episode with the brothers? So, flights, there was a little bit of drama, which I was kind of frustrated because I felt terrible for Marty and Hagen. They got to the counter a little bit before, again, we don't know with editing, before Scott and Blair. They already told the ticket attendant what they're looking for, where they're going.
Right.
Yet Scott and Blair got the last tickets on that flight.
That's real life, though. That happens, and it's so frustrating. Yeah. Well, if you get a person at the counter that's just a little bit slower, doesn't know what's going on, the person next to you comes up and is like, we want what they want, and then all of a sudden they book it first.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for Marty and Hagen. I was like, shoot, this is going to totally set the pace and the tone for the rest of their leg.
And especially because she was going in feeling so confident because she's a flight attendant. She's like, oh, I know airports.
Yeah.
I felt bad. Flight 1 consisted of Matt and Dana, Tyler and Corey, Bernie and Ashley, Brody and Kurt. Flight 2 consisted of Zach and Rachel, Brittany and Jessica, Sherry and Cole, Aaron and Jocelyn, Scott and Blair, and last but not least, Flight 3 to Columbia was Marty and Hagen, Darius and Cameron. Once they landed, again, Marty and Hagen having some trouble with their taxi.
Yeah.
Which is a little too slow of keeping up with the other teams. Obviously, they were already behind from their flight landing. So I felt really bad. I was like, this is just not a good sign for the ladies in pink. No. Once they land, they head to their first challenge, which was the roadblock, who is a hot mess. The team member had to climb up and into the mud bath inside of a volcano, completely submerge themselves in the mud, then find a satchel that would contain a gemstone. If the stone was specifically an emerald, then they had to wash it off by a nearby lagoon before giving it to a judge who would direct them to swim to their next clue box in the lagoon. I loved the roadblock. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I loved it too. And at first I kept asking myself, why do they keep completely dunking their head under the water?
When it's not deep.
Yeah, well, when it's that deep, or when you can literally just keep your head up. But part of the challenge was you had to fully immerse your body.
So they got in and they dunked, and then they continued with what they were doing.
But I do want to know, do you think it was cold, the mud?
Good question. None of them really seem to
I don't think so.
React to the temperature. It's more so we're in mud.
Yeah. And knowing it was so deep, I mean, what was it, 2,000 feet?
Which is insane to me because it didn't really look like there was a lot of room to dive.
There must have been a part of it or the middle or something that was deep because they were standing up in it and moving around and crawling. So I don't think they jumped into something that was 2,000 feet deep.
Yeah. Anyways.
I also, for wardrobe department, I loved the girls' bikinis. They were really cute. I don't know if it was wardrobe or if they picked it up beforehand, but a lot of them were really cute bikinis.
Okay, so this is another thing. And I was like, okay, Blair, you have curling irons, you have makeup, you forget a bathing suit.
But you don't really need one. This got to me too because the second they get there and they see that they're going in something, they're like, oh my God, we need our swimsuits. And I'm like, no, you don't. It flashed me back to our season when we did the salt mine and people took 20 minutes putting on their bathing suits. And I was like, sports bra, just going in,
Sure.
You have change of clothes. If you have a sports bra on and shorts or whatever, just take your shirt off, take your sneakers off, and get in.
Yeah.
But I think it's more for us as viewers to just look at everyone in their bikinis. So whatever, that's fine.
But that was nice of the clever girl to offer up her Spanx or whatever.
I agree. Did anyone else stick out to you at this roadblock? I was laughing hysterically when Corey dropped his emerald. I was thinking, what on earth? How do you lose that?
Who was the one that didn't know what an emerald was?
Oh, yeah, that was the other one. Someone, I don't know who it was.
I was just emerald, it's green. That's what emerald means. What are you doing?
And it was a girl, too. If it was a guy, I would maybe understand.
Wasn't it Dana?
It might have been. I can't remember.
I thought it was Ashley.
I think Ashley knew.
No, it was Dana. It was Dana.
Yeah.
You're right.
Dana has a really high-pitched voice.
We saw a lot of her feistiness come out.
Oh my God, but I love her now. She reminds me of me.
She kind of does.
Yeah, totally. Because she's right too. Like, just listen to her.
Yeah. No, I like them a lot.
But that was the roadblock.
But
Definitely
I was
messy.
cracking up. But it actually showed the fact that when Corey dropped it, Tyler and him literally just laughed it off. And he was like, well, I guess I got to go up and do it again.
Yeah, instead of complaining about it, he went right back in.
Yeah, they have such a good attitude. Right? I love them. They just laugh about everything.
Once Darius and Cameron caught up, as well as Marty and Hagen. Hagen was struggling at the roadblock too, and I was thinking, come on,
I know.
By a thread. They're just so close to like getting a little bit of a lead, but
no.
Poor girls. Once teams completed the roadblock.
Would you have wanted to do this roadblock?
Oh, heck yeah.
Me too.
Without question.
For sure. I was like, this is all up.
It makes me want to go to Colombia and just experience it. Why not?
I wonder how didn't it say the mud was like therapeutic?
Yeah, like what does it really do for your skin?
Well, that was why they had to dunk, because that's what people do. They go there and they like submerge in this, and
Mud
it's like
bath.
good for your skin and whatnot. So that's why they needed the full experience of going under. But like some of the girls like left their hair down and were like dunking their heads. I was like, put your hair in a ponytail and then dunk. Like what?
See, but that shows that because they're social media, people, they know good TV.
I guess,
so
yeah.
They know the bikini will bring the viewers. They know the hair, the flipping of the hair in the mud. Yeah.
Joseph Boza in the live chat says, I thought it was Dana who didn't know the difference, which, we agree. She is such a funny diva. Wait until Matt has to do some of these roadblocks. Yikes.
He's going to bust out some moves.
Right? Or she's just not going to agree with how way he's doing it.
No, she's going to be like backseat road blocking from the side.
Once teams completed the roadblock, they were told to head to Terraza Melo Faradula for the Manzanillo del Mar to search for locals who would give them their next clue, which was the Detour. The two Detour choices were Pop-Up, where teams had to use provided materials and completed half for reference to properly... What? I don't know what I was writing. Completed half for reference. Oh, so they had like a tent that had as reference, and they had to properly assemble a car shelter with wood. Once it was built to the judge's satisfaction, they would get their next clue. And the other option, Parrilla, teams had to properly cook 4 fish dishes on a grill. Once the dishes were approved, they would serve them to the party guests to receive their next clue. What did you guys think of this Detour?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when I think of like a pop-up, especially something for a beach party, I don't think I would have done that one because I'm not very tall and building is just not my expertise. So I probably would have done the cooking one, even though I hate cooking, but
the cooking seemed like it was a little bit easier. I probably would have went for the building. It depends. I mean, if it was me and you, no, because we would have never been able to like reach doing that. But if I was with Tim, obviously I would just stand there and be like, put this there, do that, like he would be able to reach, so that would be fine. I always go with the building. But watching the whole thing, cooking seemed just like a little bit easier because even if you messed up your fish, some of them were smart enough to be like, all right, let's make an extra fish while we're doing this, just in case this one's wrong. Then we already have one going. So that wasn't too difficult. That was probably the smarter choice.
I probably would have done fish as well, just because it seemed like a lot of the team struggled with once they put the stakes in the sand. Some of them weren't facing the right direction as the example, and so they had to like kind of do their work to make it fit properly, and because you couldn't just turn it in the sand, which we saw Matt and Dana struggle with. Whereas with the fish, if you didn't scale it fully, you can just go back and scale it right up.
Or if it's not cooked, just like put it back in and cook it a little bit more.
Yeah, it'd be easy to like fix.
I just want to give a shout out to J.A. in the live chat. It's their first time on our AfterBuzz show.
Oh.
And they say they have a lot to say, so I'm just waiting for you to ask us a question because we would love to discuss whatever your thoughts are. But this is, again, where we see a lot of the firecracker side in Dana. She just wasn't having it. Matt was not communicating. They were not communicating in general. There's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I saw one of their fans post on social media, I don't remember which platform, but how they were just disappointed in the two of them because they're like, you see them on YouTube and they are like,
get along.
They do a show and like they're, you see the good side of them, but that's why social media is kind of somewhat deceiving.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's like slightly scripted. That's in their element. They know what they're doing. This is like taking all of that away, and you kind of see
the true personality comes out. Yeah.
I love her.
She's very feisty. I like it.
I think they're great, and I think that they have a lot of potential to go far.
For sure.
Yeah, as long as they get over their little communication mishaps.
No, they won't. Not anytime soon, but that's what we're going to love to watch.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We don't want them to, really.
This is when Darius and Cameron had a little hiccup in their reading of the clue. They didn't go to the town to get their clue. They just showed up at the beach, and they saw the other team, so they figured,
I have a question about this. Like, is that okay? Like, if you make it to the detour, who cares if you didn't stop off and get the clue that tells you how to get to the detour? I don't know technically if you have to go get the clue and then go. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you made it to the right place.
I just kind of always assumed, like, when you check in at pit stops, and maybe you can tell us this, when you check in at pit stops, don't you have to have every clue that you received along the leg in order to check in? Because I thought people would lose clues
them,
and then they would get a penalty.
No, you don't have to have everything. You have to give everything in when you get there because you're not supposed to, like, hang on to things or hoard them or whatever. But we lost plenty of clues and papers along the way. Like, even when you do stuff in the water or the mud, it gets all ripped up and disgusting, and you just kind of like leave it or throw it away. So I don't know. You definitely, unless they change the rules, you don't need to have everything. But I'm just still not sure about that. I guess somebody told them that they would have to go back. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just do the detour?
Well, they're so, follow the rules. Maybe they're like, oh, we need to go back.
Or maybe all the information on what to do is in there, so they were standing around like, okay, well, we're here, but we don't know what to do anyway, so we have to go get the information.
I have to interrupt our live after show for 1 second and just give a shout out to Brody. He's actually in the live chat right now and said, you guys, I loved your live chat the other day.
Oh.
You guys are pros. So Brody, thanks for tuning in.
And James Earl's update, you have to get the clue before you go to the next place because you have to be directed where to go. That answers my question, but doesn't answer my question because they did just get there anyway without being directed.
But
all the info's in it, so...
Yeah.
I guess you need it.
Yeah, and Brody just said the same thing. You have to have the clue.
Okay.
Apparently they did the same exact thing and lost 30 minutes by driving down to the beach. Wow.
Yeah, which we never see. They never show any of that. You'd
Thanks
be surprised how much getting lost goes on that you never actually end up seeing. Especially in the beginning. I mean, there's so many teams and there's so much to show now. Like, all these teams could have just been, like, driving around. They could have been in taxis running. Like, we don't see a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is also where Brody, since Brody is in the live chat, we might as well discuss Brody and Kurt. They got to the detour first.
Yeah.
Tyler and Corey were shortly thereafter and ended up surpassing them in the detour, which was ultimately what gave Tyler and Corey the lead to get first place on this leg. I love Tyler and Corey's dynamic.
I do
quite
too.
I just think they're one of my favorite teams, not just because I was already a fan of Tyler's before going into this season, but they're just really likable.
Well, and they make light of things. So if something doesn't go well, they laugh about it, or they make fun of it. When the fireworks go off, they enjoy it. They're not just like go go go. They're having fun along the race.
They work well together, and their relationship as friends is kind of makes it easier because they're not like engaged or dating or where there's that pressure and like you take everything personally. Like when your partner yells at you, you take it more personally than you should because you're in a relationship with them. Like they're just friends and they're having fun and they're like, this is cool. There's not so much at stake, so they can be like a little easier going with each other.
Because they're not so much at stake, they're literally just on the race to have fun. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why they're a little more likable. They're not as, worried or stressed out because they're just doing it for fun.
Right.
I agree.
And also, they're used to having cameras around them all the time. Mm-hmm. So that kind of takes that little extra pressure off them, too.
This time, instead of them holding the camera, it's the production.
Yeah.
So Blair and Scott, because they got last on the first leg, they had to do a speed bump before they continued on to do the detour on this leg. The speed bump for this leg was only for them. They had to help local fishermen haul a large dragnet out of the water and collect fish before they can continue racing to the detour. What did you guys think of the speed bump challenge?
Easy, dumb.
Yeah.
Joke.
I feel like speed bumps, like lately, speed bumps have been so lame.
Yeah.
Like,
or ridiculous. Like last season where they had the one double detour that takes like an hour to do.
And I feel like this has been a criticism of ours for a last few seasons is that when you have to fight to earn your spot, because you should have been eliminated in the leg before, when you have to fight for that opportunity to get new life, it should be a lot more difficult.
Right.
Like you have to fight harder to really complete the speed
And
bump.
it wasn't something that they even had to do on their own. Like, these fishermen are pulling this net in regardless, whether you're there or not. So basically, they stood in line with people who are already doing a job that they normally do and just took the 10 minutes or whatever it is to do it with them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if they had to do something on their own, if they were like, take this net out, just the two of you, figure this out, get it in, then I would have been like, okay. But this wasn't enough for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I agree. Nice guy says, easy, dumb joke. Oh, but does that describe Blair, the speed bump? Ooh.
Stop it. That's mean.
I love Blair.
I love Blair. I think she's so sweet, and her dad is such a cutie pie.
I mean, she's like a little annoying, but she's sweet. I just remembered like watching it and being like, oh my God, your voice, like your
her voice is annoying.
And she's always yelling. Like, even if it's just like regular talking, it's yelling. But I think it's just because she's excited, and I don't know. I mean, it's a little annoying for me, but I don't not like her.
I mean, how old is she?
I don't know.
She does seem more on the younger side.
She's young, and I just think that that's just who she is. But I like her. I think she...
So J.A. said in the live chat, so I love when the social media stars face things that frustrate them because it makes them more authentic.
Oh.
Because again, like, everyone puts on like a front on social media as much as they can. So to be stripped of all those editing tools and capabilities, you're really on reality television. So
That's true. They can't edit themselves to make them look good.
right. Thanks, J.A., for your contribution. Once teams completed the detour, they were on their way to the pit stop, which is Plaza Bolivar. First place was Tyler and Corey. They won a trip to St. Thomas. Second place was Brody and Kurt. Third, Bernie and Ashley. Fourth, Dana and Matt. Fifth, Aaron and Jocelyn. Sixth, Zach and Rachel. Seventh, Brittany and Jessica. And those three teams were like boom, 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 like dominoes, checking into that pit stop. In eighth was Sherry and Cole. Ninth was Scott and Blair. 10th, Darius and Cameron. And last but not least, Marty and Hagen, which I am so disappointed by because they were one of my favorite teams this season.
And I felt bad because they, cabs are so important in this race. And because they started running back to the village and they realized it was a lot farther than they thought, that's when the brothers passed them.
But did they get out of their cab and run to the detour, or did their cab take them to the detour and they didn't tell the cab to stay? Because that's what always ends up being an issue. You get to something, you're so excited, and you just get out and leave. You have to tell your cab, wait for us.
Yeah.
Otherwise they go, and then you get yourself into a situation where you're like stealing someone else's cab and whatnot. And you saw them walk by the cab sitting there with the open doors, which was the what's their names? The brothers.
Darius and Cameron.
Yeah, it was their cab. So, I mean, had that been me, I would have just gotten their cab and left.
Well, that's why I was like, why didn't they just steal their cab?
Because then everyone would hate them and they would be the cab stealers and it would go on for years and years. But they probably just didn't even think about that. I don't know. Maybe their bags were in it, which makes it not...
You can't steal.
Okay, but I doubt it. I'm sure the bags were like next to it just to tempt them. But that's probably what happened. Their cab left. They didn't know to make it stay, and they had to run back to civilization.
Brody
basically.
says they ran to the detour.
Oh, well, that's why.
I think that's what he's referring to as Marty and Hagen.
I think that they decided to run to the detour.
Right, but the other teams drove right up to the detour. That's the difference. So when they were done, they didn't have a cab waiting for them.
Losing some time.
Yeah.
I'm just bummed because... The reason why I think I really liked or I was really drawn to Marty and Hagen is because they didn't really have all of that star power going into this. Like, sure, Marty had a viral video go viral, but like she's still doing that job. Yeah. She's still a flight attendant. And that's what I like about her is that she's not posting videos every week, posting all these photos on Instagram, trying to gain a following. She's still Marty. She's still Southwest Airlines flight attendant. And I just think that if she was on like a regular season... Oh, wow.
Oops. Phone call.
Sorry. I think if she was on a regular season, she could have done really well.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I really liked Marty and Hagen's dynamic, and I just wish that there would have been more life to them this season.
And I liked that it was the mom who had the viral video who got them on the show. And so Hagen was just tagging along kind of under her mom's fame that she created.
Right.
Which was pretty cute. Like, a lot of the times it's the other way around. The daughters, the famous one, whatever. So.
And Hagen's so beautiful.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Like, she needs to get discovered. I mean, she was for Amazing Race, but I mean, like, beyond that, like, she just has a great look. I like Hagen a lot. So
Brody says you can't steal a cab. You can.
I would have stolen a cab until I was.
Carissa says you can't if someone's bags are in it.
Right. Well, that's the whole controversy. So whether they were in it or not. So let us know,
were the bags in there or not?
Interesting.
Huh.
I mean,
well, since we like kind of like sped through this recap, I kind of like it that it gives us a little bit more window to discuss this season, because there is still a lot of controversy online about this being a season that's social media influenced. The ratings have gone down since last week, so people obviously are very opinionated because this is just a different feel than what the race usually is. So overall, what do you guys think now that we're 2 episodes in of the social media influencer kind of theme to this season?
Well, I think it's definitely, it's kind of weird that the views have gone down just because all of these all the people on the show have huge following. So I'm surprised that the views haven't gone up because of their huge following, their fans.
I guess if you think about it too, like, just because they have a large number of followings, like, there's some people I'm subscribed to on YouTube, but I don't watch their videos every week.
Yeah.
You know, I'm subscribed to them, which I give them that follow, but it doesn't mean I'm a loyal follower of theirs, and I keep tabs on them every single week. So it surprises me in some aspects that the ratings have gone down, but at the same time it doesn't, because you may like someone on social media, but it doesn't mean you're going to like them on reality TV.
Right. And then again, it's like, you like his YouTube show and how he is on his YouTube show, but outside of that, it's, you know,
there's nothing else there that I want to see. It's just, I want to watch you on YouTube. I don't want to watch you on
YouTube. Maybe the amount of followers that are watching because of them isn't necessarily as many as the amount of people that watched this before who are now not liking this.
Sure.
You know, I mean, Amazing Race viewers, for the most part, want to see authentic teams that sent in a video and they're just regular people and they applied and they need the money. And, you know, this type like of show takes away from that. Like, that's not what this is.
Right.
I agree.
So it's something totally different, and I guess as a whole the viewers just like aren't into it.
Right. I'm glad you brought that point up, because that's kind of where I stand. Like, I've been watching this show since I was like 11. When it first came out, season 1, I've been a loyal fan till now. I still am a fan because I love the race and the competition, but I guess it's just like an integrity of the race. Like, the race was created to completely strip like your average Joe people from middle America and putting them in circumstances that they would never in a million years find themselves to be in. But and people
provide them with these lifetime opportunities.
Exactly.
Like traveling the world. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these people have already traveled.
Yeah.
And they travel for free, you know, for campaigns or this and that. And that's the one part I like. And kind of, to me, what I find entertaining is to see, you know, these average people who don't know how to book a ticket or don't know how to travel or communicate or get cabs. And they're experiencing this with their partner live on television, you know, fighting for that $1 million.
Just take some of the realness away from it. Like, even how Brody said, no, you can't steal cabs. It was a marked cab. That was your cab. Like, why? I don't think that you should have your own cab the whole time and that's only your cab. Like, that takes some of the fun away from it. If you're dumb enough to leave a cab somewhere and someone else is smart enough to take it, like, that adds excitement to it and, you know, more of a chance of who's going to get ahead, who's going to get behind. I think it's just kind of turned into, and even with the flights, you know, there's 3 different flights and they're all 10 minutes apart from each other and nobody really gets too far separated. Like, too much, like, there's not enough that could go wrong for me.
Well, and also it's interesting because they all pretty much know each other.
Right.
Like, that's another thing. So you get on Amazing Race, you're with a ton of people that you've never met before. They all know each other. They know their background. They know their friends. They know their YouTube. They know so much about each other.
And I also feel like just because you know the race and you might be a fan of the race, you can't sit here and tell me that these teams on the show aren't thinking about what their image is going to be like after the fact.
Oh,
like, you
sure.
honestly think one of these teams are going to screw somebody else over?
This is like a good opportunity
exposure
for them.
Too,
yeah,
and for their networks, which is great. Again, like, their success is incredible. Power to them for all the hard work that they've done to really profit off of social media. But it's not about the teams and them individually as human beings. They are human beings, which is great. They all have their interesting stories. But what makes the race is just the everyday average Joe.
Right. And you
not
know what?
People who have a platform already.
And I think that they are probably more driven to in their heads, they're more driven to make good TV to entertain their viewers instead of let's get to the pit stop. We have to win this leg. They're more based on let's entertain because, of course, they're always thinking about their viewers because that's what they do every day, all day. So instead of having that drive to get first, they're more, what should we say? What would be funny here? What should we wear? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I also think that a season like this, I know people who are super fans online that have been trying for years to even get noticed by casting and try to get on the show to fulfill a lifelong dream. Where a lot of these teams were reached out to by casting because of their social media following, not because they initially applied to be on the race. Which then, if you do a whole season filled with social media influencers, it's taking away one season of an opportunity for that team that was probably that close the season before and now is completely overlooked because of the people that are from social media. So that's disappointing. Like in a perfect world, what they should have done is just taken someone like Tyler and Corey and then cast regular everyday people around that team.
Right.
You only need one or two social media teams on a season to get the point.
I mean, it's been going this way though for a couple seasons now. Like, more and more they're going and getting teams to like fill a spot. You know, even as far back as my season, there was probably only maybe even half of us that authentically applied, whereas the rest went and pulled to fill what they wanted to cast. And it's been more and more like that ever since. So now we're at the point where they're basically just getting exactly what they want, and there is no casting process for people to apply. I mean, I hope they go back. Like, I hope after this, they're like, okay, done. Let's go back to, like, the very beginning, all organic, normal people that applied, nobody famous. Like, I would like to see that happen one more time.
Just like a nice refresher, because I think they were probably so desperate because they weren't winning, like, all the awards that they usually get through all the years before now. And then their ratings have been going down slightly, so they were, like, really desperate and grasping at straws to really kind of pull in the ratings when it's like, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Yeah.
Right.
Because the race was still keeping a consistent rating. It may not be great for CBS viewers, but your fan base that has been loyal since season 1 would have kept watching regardless.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just think it's just a lot. You don't need a whole season of social media.
I know, it is a lot.
I'd rather than bring back the family edition of Amazing Race than do a season of social influencers.
Well, everyone in the chat is agreeing 29 normal season, 30 all-stars. Like, yes, that's exactly what I want.
And that's what set Amazing Race apart from all the other reality shows. Is that it was just your average people. Really, it was, in my opinion, it was the most reality show out there.
Yeah. No, it really was. I mean, I don't know how much has changed, but like even when I came back and people would see it, they're like, is it real? Like, is that really? I'm like, this is the closest thing to a real reality show that it gets. Like, obviously there's a little bit of production and editing and whatnot, but I mean, you're making a TV show. So for me, in my season, I would say like as close as you can possibly be to being 100% real, authentic, it is.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of getting away from that a little bit now.
If you had to, pick, let's say, your favorite team so far.
My favorite teams, which is a lot of people have been asking us, like, what happened to the fantasy teams? We are going to do that, but every season it's like there's those 2 teams that are left over that do better than one of the teams we chose. Yeah. So we're going to wait till 2 of the fluff teams get eliminated, and then when there's 9 solid teams to choose from, then we'll divide it up 3-3-3, and then it's just smooth sailing to the finale.
Yes.
But my favorites right now are definitely Tyler and Corey. Love them. I think Matt and Dana are a really strong team, and I can see them doing really well as far as like longevity. But I really love Bernie and Ashley. I love them. I didn't think, like I said last week, I didn't think I was going to really like them coming into this, but I really enjoy Bernie and Ashley because they truly are fans, and you can see it every episode. What about you guys?
I love Tyler and Corey, or as they said, Tori. They're the new little name, Tori. I love Dana and Matt. And then I like Aaron and Jocelyn just because I know them personally, so I like them.
I would say I like Cole and Sherry because I have a crush on Cole.
I forgot about Sherry and Cole.
You love them.
What
are you talking about? Shotgun getting them for our teams.
We'll see about that.
And of course I like Tyler and Corey, and you guys are gonna kill me, but I love the models.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, stop. You can't be mad at them because, listen, if you can make money and be famous off just being hot, fine. I'm not mad at you. People just want to hate because they're not.
I just, it's funny. I actually spoke with Brittany on Twitter over the last few days. We had a casual conversation. She likes this after show, which, again, thank you so much.
Yay.
I just think it's really interesting that because of all the backlash and the negativity that a lot of fans have been throwing toward this season, some of the teams are taking it really personally, and I understand that. But again, you don't need to comment on every single post because it just makes you look even worse. You're like proving their point.
Yeah.
So just don't comment back. It makes me some of the stuff that the teams have been saying to fans, it's just as cringeworthy as it is the fans are saying to them.
But I think they were also, like, they created this thing setting people up to hate them, like calling them Instagram models. Like, they're not Instagram models. They're legit models, like with real modeling careers. And then they got this tag where we all think that they're just chicks that like post fake tea on Instagram, and like that's not fair, and because people hate those types of girls anyway, and that's not all that they are.
Well, it makes you think if they were on like a normal season and they were just the models,
right,
they probably would have a better response because they're probably not
they
as
had to
well
like
known.
narrow it for this,
right?
Yeah, and they're not well known as some of the other teams. Of course, they're going to probably be the team that's going to take all of the heat because it's like, why are you on this show?
Right, because there's so many YouTubers and Viners and whatever, and we didn't have like an Instagram team, so they were like, okay, let's fill that. Let's make them the Instagram
But
team.
also, I mean, any single model now, it could also be considered an Instagram model because that's what society is now.
But I mean, there's a difference between a girl that gets paid $300 to post a pair of shoes on Instagram. Like, people message me all the time, hey, can you wear our jewelry? We'll send you a check, this and that. That's Instagram modeling. These girls have a legit modeling career. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference, but I just think that that's why people, like, right from the beginning wanted to hate on them so much.
And that's just, I mean, sadly, people just judge models. And I wish it wasn't that way because a lot of the models are brilliant and they're smart and they're even more beautiful on the inside. I wish there wasn't that stigma to models, but it's sad, but it's true.
Joseph Boza brings up the point that they think that they were given... Brittany and Jessica were given a bad reputation due to casting making them out to be like the bimbo models.
Yeah.
And I would have to agree. That's kind of what we're seeing, which is not Brittany and Jessica's fault. That's just how the editing is perceiving them to be. It's just almost every time they have a soundbite, it's referring to their agency or, oh, this could be a great photo shoot. It's like, I just want to see more to them. I just want to know more.
They want us to think that. Absolutely. And if they stick around, I'm sure we'll see it turn and people will start to like them and see that they're more than just pretty. That's kind of what's supposed to happen.
Their beauty is going to work to their advantage. They even said, we're going to use our good looks to work our way. Yeah, exactly. Just like men are going to use their strength, girls are going to use their beauty.
I don't know. I just don't even think that everyone keeps saying editing makes them seem so awful. Like, why does it make them seem so awful? Because they talk about how they're going to use their looks for stuff. Like, if you were really pretty, you'd use it to your advantage too. Viewers at home who are angry from behind a keyboard, like, get over it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think the moral of the story is just because people are hating on you, like, you don't need to respond.
No, you don't.
It's just perpetuating the problem. That's what it's doing.
And that's what they want. They want to hate on you and they want you to respond. So if you don't, then you're not giving them what they want.
Yeah,
it's
just
reality television.
Yeah.
Everyone on the show has a hater.
Don't let them hate you. Haters are going to hate.
Well, once again, we hit the 50 watching now viewers. We have 50 viewers watching. That's awesome. That's the second week in a row. Heck yeah. And that kind of sums up episode 2.
Yeah.
I love the conversations they're having about this season. This is probably what the producers ultimately wanted. It's just the conversation. Yeah. So let's keep the conversation going as the week progresses up until episode 3. And let us
know who your guys' favorite teams are.
Mm-hmm. Because we're going to do our fantasy picks probably after next week's episode. Yes. So keep that in mind,
Who do you guys think is going to win? Because I want to know.
We need to draw straws for picking. We need like a real...
Go to like a website
randomizer. I think whoever won last...
No.
Whoever won last season should pick last.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Maybe we should have the chat vote for the order that we get to pick.
Okay.
I should make a poll.
Yes,
That's
you guys,
funny.
we're going to make a poll and you guys have to pick the order that we get to select.
Okay, I will tweet the poll out. We'll all tweet the poll out. And it'll be the order of the
should we do predictions also for who's going home next week real quick?
Yeah. I'm going to say Darius and Cameron.
No!
Me too. I agree.
Their story is not really as big as some of the other teams, and they've also talked a lot about their intelligence and making mistakes. So I just think that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I want to say Zach and Rachel.
Oh,
Oh, the Magic Man. I like them.
I like them too, but I can see them going home.
They're like kind of boring. So
I think
Darius and Cameron have been more focused on then Magic.
And they've had a lot of airtime too, which
I don't know.
Sometimes that means I don't know.
I'm always wrong, so.
Well, we'll tweet this poll out ASAP. All right, Marie, where can they find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Reebsicle.
And you guys can tweet me. You can tweet me at Jess Carroll TV.
And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington, on Instagram at James.Wallington, and we will tweet the links out on Twitter.
Yes.
So don't forget our Twitter handles. Let's do it one more time. Marie?
Reebsicle on Twitter.
Jess?
Jess Carroll TV.
And at James Wallington. Great. Help us pick the order.
Yes.
That's episode 2 for you. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Again, I repeat, next Tuesday. Our schedules didn't align for Monday, so we'll be doing Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mark it down on your calendar.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.